Before we get started, anyone interested in ordering Mr. Lindell's 4-CD set, go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. For those in the U.S., you can order physical copies or the digital downloads. For those outside the U.S., you can order the digital downloads by going to metaphysicalarttheater.com.
So how you doing, sir?
Very well. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So as we're looking at getting started today, what we want to talk about is the will of God or God's will. What is God's will for us?
What is his will for you? Whatsoever. He gave it all to you. He gave himself to you. Right here, right now. Everything. Son, all I have is yours. Isn't that what he said?
That's what he said.
There it is. I'm with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresent. There's the whole story. It's right with you, right here, right now. Because now is the only time there is. You're not living in yesterday. I don't think I've ever met a man or a woman who didn't want to change something. Have you?
I have not. Everybody wants to change, and that's why so many programs, TV shows, internet programs exist, because people won't change.
That's it. But it is nearer than hands and feet. So you don't need to look out there, because that's what I call secondhand land. It was only new as idea. And what you're looking for, your ideal, will be there also if you don't fade away from being it. Because that's what you're told to do, is to be that which you're here to find out how to be. And I'm telling you, be it. You don't need any training or anything, just be it. Because everything you need will be drawn to you by what you're feeling after, because you're told, feel after him and you'll find him. And that's you doing, being, and having your ideal of your world as heaven on earth. Because you're told to bring heaven on earth. Why tell you to do so if you can't do so? And if you can do so, what are you waiting for? Isn't that the question?
It is the question. You know, you said something in that. You said, you don't need any training, be it. And that's profound for most of us, because everything outside of us is saying that we got to learn this, we have to get this certificate, we have to get this degree, that everything basically suggests that we're not enough where we are.
You are. That's it. That's the whole idea, is to keep you lesser than. That runs the economy, because they allow you to be involved with ego to the extent that he'll run you wild, crazy. Actually, that is what happens to most people. Ego's running the show. Ego has a part to play. I agree with that, but not running the show. And he will do so if you allow him to. But remember, you have to allow him to. You see, what has your attention has your life, your energy. And if you change your thought, you change your energy away from one to the other. And that's what you're doing. You're either lifting yourself up or you're letting yourself down. It's always your feeling nature, because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, so does he, so has he. This is something that you should actually sit in a silence and run over and over in your mind until it actually starts to make perfect sense to you. And it will. If you'll feel after it, you will find it. Whatever you're looking for is looking for you. Is that enough information?
It's quite a bit, and it's good information. I was thinking about your comment about us allowing ego. And prior to that, you said ego has a part to play, but not running the show. But you said, unless you allow him so. And the thing is, most of us
Yes.
have made ego this boogeyman. And we think that this boogeyman, this devil, has all the control, and it's just not so.
Well, that's true, but you see, he doesn't come off as that. He comes off as your friend. You see, that's where you get hooked, because he acts as though he's your friend, but he's anything but. He doesn't care what happens to you as long as you don't die or something, because that kind of ends his sustaining. But it's the individual should think of themselves as needing their own help, because all the help you need to do whatever it is you feel you want to do is nearer than hands and feet. You see, everything you need is already right with you. You don't need anything on the without, except the original information, which Scripture gives you quite freely, doesn't it?
It does.
That's it. It's all right there. The whole plan of action is right there. I mean, you have to feel what you're reading rather than just read it. And to feel it, it'll take you. It'll probably take you hours to get through even chapters, even a few chapters, if you're really feeling what you're reading. And understand, this was written for them there at that time, with the story essence written for the rest of history, which is divine history, which is what you're living right now, divine history. But do you see it as that? You see, that's you may not be looking through the right end of the telescope. You get what I mean?
I do. You may be looking through the large end, seeing very small.
Yeah. So you see, everything so far away from you, it discourages you, and that's what people do. They really are looking at the world through the wrong end of the telescope, and everything seems to be out of their reach, when actually it is all of it right with you right now. Feel after him, and you'll find him, and the him you find is you doing, being, and having what you're dreaming the dream to be. And that's what you're told to do. Dream the dream. See yourself as a success. Rather than trying to be successful, you are the success, as you think you are. If you think successful, you'll be successful, because as you think you are. Isn't that right?
It is right. And it starts with what you said. It's funny that you were mentioning the telescope, because I was actually meditating upon that this week, probably a day or so ago. And I was thinking about, as we look through the large end and we see things very far away and very small, the only thing we need to do to change our perspective is to change the view of the telescope and begin looking from the small end, but seeing a larger world, a larger opportunity. So it goes back to what you were just saying, though, for success. Only thing that the person needs to begin being.
Well, that's it. That's it. Just be it. Like you said, you turn the telescope around, you turn you around. That's it. You turn to me, I'll turn to you. An invitation from God. If God turns to you, what would possibly be your problem? It's acceptance. Do you accept it? Do you accept the idea? Do you trust God? Do you believe his promises? Just ask yourself, do you believe the promises of God? He made you a promise. And he told you that if you do this and this, the promise is yours. And you say, but I'm doing that. Are you really? Check it out. Check yourself out. What am I saying? What am I asking? Remember, if you're praying to God, he already knows what you have need of even before you ask. But what are you asking? Woe is me this and woe is me that. I don't have this and I don't have that. Is it what you're asking for? More of the same? Because subconscious mind is the one who's going to fulfill the package for you, whatever you're thinking feelingly within, not necessarily what you're saying without. But as a man thinketh in his heart, male, female, in his heart, so they experience. It isn't falling into the past what you're thinking and feeling to yourself, suggesting to yourself. It's being projected into your future. And if you want a better future, dream up a better conversation with yourself, wouldn't you say?
I would. And it really does start with one's conversation, and as we speak, what I do realize, because it was to me, what I'm saying for the person hearing this for the first time, this sounds like a foreign language, because everything that we've been told, even about the will of God, is that, you go on the missions field, you go save souls, you do all this stuff that was religious in nature. But to realize that whatever I'm doing at the moment, I'm occupying in God's will, that's foreign to 99% of the world.
Yep. Actually, it's really just habitualness rather than religiousness. Doesn't it say it? The other end too.
Absolutely.
We know the before. We're sharing the with after with them. Isn't that what we're doing?
We are, because I've lived the before for many years before getting to the after.
Yeah. See, that's it. Guilty of all the things that man is guilty of. And then you're told, let the man deliver himself. You're to work out your own salvation. You're told, work out your own salvation. They themselves are makers of themselves. You are making yourself what you are. By what you think you are, you are. And that's who you are, isn't it?
It is, and I'm glad, and I'm going to reemphasize what you said. You said work out your own salvation. Then you started talking about thinking, because some are going to say, well, how do I work out my salvation? By simply changing your thoughts.
That's it. That's it. Change your mind, change your world. That's very simple said. It's hard to do because we're so conditioned to the ongoing drama as it is, as we are up to the moment. That's what we're experiencing now. But it had, before we experienced it, it had a conversation that preceded it. And the preceding conversation is now being experienced. If you want to change the prior before, then you can do so. You can change your mind, change your world. You're given by God to do so. Do so. But make it what you want, not what you don't want. Because what you're focused on is what you'll be experiencing. And if you're whining and crying about anything, you're just building yourself up for more whining and crying, isn't it?
It is. You're building a case for that whining and crying, and you're so absolutely correct. The beautiful thing is, you've often said it, if anything's a miracle, everything's a miracle. But when you begin understanding these principles, they're really miraculous in nature.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's it. They're the nature of God, and you're given to use them. Worshiping God is using his gifts. Isn't that what it says?
That's exactly what it says.
Why are you not using them? If you don't recognize them, then just listen to what we're saying and you'll recognize them. If you're feeling, if you have a hunger to know, here's the place you fill up with, isn't it?
It is. This is definitely the spiritual service station, if you really want to know. And I think that because it is spiritual in nature, people want to be entertained. So when they come to this channel, for example, and they hear these things, these truths as they're being spoken, they go elsewhere because, of course, they want to be entertained. But if you sit there and you just tap in for a moment and listen to what is being said, it could literally transform your life. And not because of the speakers, but because, as Mr. Lindell said a moment ago, they're divine in nature.
That's it. It's there for everyone. Everyone has a divine nature. Feel after it, and you'll find it. Isn't that what it tells you to do? And it tells you if you will feel after it, you will find it. You're already guaranteed to find it if you don't stop looking, right?
Absolutely. I had made a post almost to that exact same quote, and it was just basically telling it's not a shall, it's not a could, it's not a hope so. You will, you must.
Sooner or later, you'll get it. And you'll go, oh. What have I put myself through? You'll get to experience it all, every bit of it. But you just have to be patient with yourself. That's all. Isn't that the truth?
It made me think about a conversation I had recently, and the person was saying that he was trying to explain Neville's principles to his mother, who's a much older person, but she's been locked into the mindset of religion. And she said, well, that's a bunch of hogwash, a bunch of crap. And I told him, if you had approached me years ago, you'd have got the same reply from me. It takes us coming to the realization. What are your thoughts?
If you know what you're looking for, then you'll be looking for it. And what you're looking for is looking for you. So if you don't know what you want, then looking for it, you don't know what to give you, right? See, it's really very, very simple. I mean, if you just watch a little child playing out in the dirt with little soldiers or something or whatever, he's there. He's there. He hears the cannon roars and everything. It's only you who can't get his attention. Come in and eat now. Come in and eat now. And he just goes on playing. You know, he's not ignoring you. He really doesn't hear you. He's there. He's in the situation, and you have to scream at him to get his attention. And then he goes, "Oh, okay." But that's the way we all are, even as adults. You have to scream at them a little bit sometimes just to get their attention. And that's what they do on television. Boy, the next thing comes on and wow, it's so loud you got to grab the remote to turn it down. But that's what we do. We get so involved in the world that we don't take time for ourselves. We just are like we're running on autopilot all the time. We're not really feeling our way along. We're not really feeling what we're thinking, and then we're surprised when it happens because we weren't paying attention when we took it in. And as you're impressed, you express. And that's, from childhood, you're impressed with what's going on around you and those who are going on around you. And then you have to sort it all out at becoming of age of reason, and then you reason it all out. And you see where you are, and you see if the information you got up to that point is beneficial or if it's damning you. Because it will. It'll cause a block in your moving forward unless you deal with it. and you have to deal with the things that were given you if you still are using them and they're not serving you. Just chart a whole different course. That's all you have to do. And charting a course is making a decision as to what you want, but not what you want, but what you have. That's what you want to show. I have it. You have it in mind, and if you have it in mind, you'll have it. In the play, in this drama, man, you'll have it. Because you're told, seek and you shall find. But what are you seeking? I can tell you what you're seeking. You're experiencing it right now. That's what you have been seeking. If you want different, then you'll have to seek different. It's a play on words, but yet you have to take every word into account, don't you?
You do. And you were speaking about if you want to see different, or if you want to experience different, you have to see different, of course, in your imagination. And so my question to you, before you came into the realization of the teachings of Neville, if somebody had approached you and started telling you about this stuff, would you have been able to receive it without having that insight?
No, I wouldn't. See, that's what we're waiting. That's what we're looking for. Those that have the hunger that has come upon them to know first person. Isn't that right?
It is right. And I'm so glad that you said that, because likewise, nor would I. And that's what I was explaining to someone recently. When my eyes were stuck on the cross of religion and my ears were stuck in the message of religion, you couldn't have told me anything else, because in my mind's eye, I knew the answer. But the answer had been spoon-fed to me since I was an infant.
Yeah. Actually, you see, we're all born innocent. And so, therefore, we are conditioned. And we're conditioned to what? What's going on around us, the people, and everything else that's already going on. That's what we're conditioned to. Now, to break out of that conditioning usually takes a little really self-investigation. You have to reveal what you have been conditioned to. And then, is it working for you? Is it providing you what you wish, what you want, what you desire? And if it isn't, then you're given change your mind, change your world. And you're actually making your world moment by moment, because you're always thinking ahead of the evidence you're experiencing. Isn't that the case?
It is the case. And I like that you said, often it requires self-investigation. And this is so true when I was becoming open to something new. And a lot of new came to me, but none of it resonated with my spirit. So I want the listener to understand that everything that comes to you, it's not going to resonate with you. Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice and they know it. So when I begun to get dissatisfied with religion as the status quo and what was being taught, I knew that there was something more that I needed to hear. And so when I heard the teachings of Neville for the first time, like I said, it kind of shook me, because it unraveled everything I thought that I knew about religion.
Yeah. I experienced that too. The thing of it is, though, is that it really makes you laugh. What a ding dong you've been. But the point is that once you discover that it's you who's in control, and that you're given control, because you're given choose this day, and it's always this day, so you're on all the time. But what are you on? That's what you want to check on, isn't it?
It is. The thing is, what we're not trying to do is take your God away from you. That's not our goal. But what we're trying to do is get you to see that he's always been within you and needed only to be recognized, not as a God out there, the idol, but the God within. Somebody had asked me recently, does this mean that I can't pray any longer since I know these principles? No, you just prayed better.
Yeah, really. And your aiming really is improved, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to improve your aim, because the target that you're looking for is really always right in front of you, isn't it?
It is. It is.
And all you have to do is zero in on it. Is that what you're looking for? The center?
That's it. That's it. You know, we've been so off target. Matter of fact, most of us have lived lives off target that's become our new norm.
Yeah, but you see, we're susceptible to accept things. You see, without examination, and that's our downfall. It's right there. If you understood what's being given to you at the moment, then you would have a choice to choose or not to choose. But you would have a choice, and you do have a choice. You were given a choice, and if you don't like what you're experiencing, change it, because you're given a choice to do so. Change it. And what do you change? You change your mindsets, and your mindsets are formed by what you think mostly upon. Well, think mostly upon the things that are lovely and of good report, and that's what you'll start stockpiling, isn't it?
It is, you know, and I want to speak to the person that's listening, and they say to themselves, well, how do I know what you guys are saying is true? Well, we have a beautiful litmus test. It says, test me and see if I am not good. Test me and taste and see if I'm not good. Test me and see if I will not open up the windows of heaven and pour you out such a blessing. Test these principles. Test what we say. Don't just go off of what Mr. Lindell says or what DeCarlo says, but test them. Find out if, as you think you are, and just look around at your world and see what's going on and see how much of it matches the reality of your thoughts.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing right there. To actually change something, and you actually can, because it is a thing even as a thought, because thoughts are things. It's just you recognizing them as the manifestation of what they represent. And you're using the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. The Word is God. What you're doing is you're using the power to change what you've made. And what you've made, you made by choice. Now you're choosing differently. And that's all there is to it. That is really, really praying. The rest of it is just, well, it's just man-made up to give you something to do, to make you feel like maybe you have a chance to get help. All the help you need, you're told, is nearer than hands and feet. Feel after it. It's right with you. Feel it. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresent. That's what's being told to you. But you're looking to the world for help, and the world is only what you've already thought, right?
Absolutely.